All right. Well, that was an ugly and awful game to watch. A win, they always say a win is a win, but man, did that feel bad. That was a. Ugh.
Yeah, I think,
Thank God we have Nick Chubb.
yeah, I mean, he won the game at the end. He played great the entire thing. They called back 20, 25 yards on two penalties
Yeah,
against the offensive line that he could add more. Baker played pedestrian at best. Um, he he typified the whole game. I think at the very end when they won the game, he just walked off the field. He didn't go out to say hello to the other quarterback, which is tradition. Uh, the other kid came across. He was looking for Baker, and Baker was walking towards the tunnel. Didn't He wasn't limping. He wasn't apparently hurt or anything. I just think he felt that he was booed a couple of times for some bad plays. He got whacked around pretty good. Uh, the offensive line. I mean, we committed, I think, close to 10 penalties, and they committed the same, but they're 0-8 now, 0-9. So you expect that from them, but not for us. Just I don't know how you build on this one for the Baltimore game. Baltimore again finds a way to win the game against Chicago. 16-13. It's over. They, I don't know if they're the luckiest team in the NFL. Certainly this year they are. They lose Lamar Jackson and they still win 16-13. And it just, we'll see what happens with Pittsburgh, and we'll see what happens with Cincinnati. But Baltimore finds a way to win, and we make no progress on them.
Yeah, Mike, what are your thoughts?
I mean, it went exactly how I thought it would go, and we almost lost the game. A win's a win, so I'll take it. But I mean, the game was as bad as LeVar Arrington.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't get it. I don't get any of it, to be quite honest with you. When you go from a play calling standpoint, there were times where Stefanski was right on the ball, and then there were times where he left you scratching your head again. If there's no Nick Chubb on this team is maybe a 7-win team, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he is the team. I mean, without him moving the ball, this game would have been lost. And I just, I'm puzzled by the whole Mayfield thing. I'll be honest with you. I mean, the kid is gutsy. He's got heart bigger than three guys. I give him that. I really do. But again, there's guys open. We're forcing throws into triple coverage. I don't know. I'm at a loss. I don't know what next week brings, really. I mean, you look at last week, and you could say, okay, Pittsburgh tied the Lions. Well, to me, Pittsburgh is not a very good team, and so then that says, well, where are we? Pittsburgh is the type of team that even when they lack talent, they still find ways. And you could say that about us today, but historically that's not the case. And we don't know what's going to happen with Lamar. I'm assuming he'll be back next week. And you go to Baltimore, and I don't know how that game plays out. I mean, now you figure Landry's hurt again. You don't know what's going on with that knee.
He came back to play. That was good. He was in at the end. So,
and it's just, I don't know. I don't have any answers. I don't think anybody has any answers. I think that this team's a crapshoot. I mean, it really is. I mean, next week they could win 45-10, or they'll get their doors blown off. But I just, I know Baker's hurt, but you know what? I'm going to shut up because the good news is I see that we just got a new subscriber.
Yeah, welcome. Thank you, Jacob, for subscribing. No, Mike, I think you're right. It's like, Nick Chubb on the next to final drive tried to put us on his shoulders and win the game, but our offensive line and I guess Harrison Bryant and then Teller decided to get penalties that just knocked us back.
Undisciplined.
Exactly.
And the Teller one was bad. I mean, he knocked the guy down from behind after Chubb had already, run 12 yards. I mean, it was a needless thing to do, and it would have kept our drive alive, et cetera. And we were finding ways to try to keep them in the game so that they could possibly beat us.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason why. I mean, then you look at us defensively. I mean, we didn't even have a sack.
No,
and
we didn't put any pressure on them. How many times did they blitz? Every time I looked, there was 4 men rushing. They never put, 6 guys on the line. They never showed they could have dropped back. They let the kids sit back there and throw.
And you bring up an interesting point, Dan, because you watch the game and it's people don't understand it. It's a chess match on both sides of the ball.
Right.
And there is nothing that we do on defense that is a level of quote unquote confusion, right? There's I mean, you're not showing any type of different look before the play and then drop it into something different. It's very, very, very vanilla. And I mean, that's why the Lions hung in with us for 4 quarters, and that game could have went. Let's put it this way, and I think you guys would agree with me. If Jared Goff is playing in that game, we probably lose.
Yeah. More experience. So, they give him the same protection. Thank God, whatever that guy did on Detroit to get that personal foul, after the play was over. And
when we came back from commercial.
Right.
Peculiar.
And we're like, what in the it reminds me, like, how are you going to get fired on your day off? Like, how do you get a penalty during the TV timeout?
Right. Well, he said
I thought it was on the Browns.
Yeah, and it made it 1st and 25. Thank God we were able to hold them.
Oh, yeah, and barely too. And new subscriber Anonymous.
I like it.
Welcome,
I'd be anonymous too after that showing today.
God, it was just a.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know what to say. Are we allowed to drink it at the Victory Monday after that? Like, is that? I mean, I guess out of a technicality, we could.
Technically, we can, but I mean,
but honestly, like, just if we're being honest with ourselves, should we drink out of the Victory Monday? I'll put it to you. I'll put it to a vote, chat. Are we allowed to drink out of the Victory Monday? Yes or no? And what? Actually, I think I can put a poll out. Let me see if I can put a poll. Like, all right, I'm going to put this in now.
Again, I'm disappointed in Baker for not going across the field and saying, good game to the other guys. Why you have to walk off?
Very interesting.
Like you're underappreciated, or you didn't like the fact that fans booed you at various times for inconsistent play. Very unlike him. I thought he was a bigger man than that. To go.
Well, do we know 100% that he didn't say anything to anybody?
He looked and Dan, I'm sure you're talking about the end of the game where the camera was on it. He looked like he put his hat on and he pieced out to the tunnel.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Didn't look back. Didn't want to go across. Didn't want to say good game. Didn't want to be involved. Maybe didn't want to look like he was celebrating a poor victory, but still. You suck it up. You shake hands.
You should have. I mean, that you shake hands after a win.
Right.
If they don't want to shake hands, that's on them. But you shake hands after a win. That's disappointing.
And especially that guy, because they showed Tim Boyle right after they showed Baker walking off, and you could see him like looking around, like, "Hey, where is he?"
Yeah, because always the 2 quarterbacks always shake hands.
Yeah.
So exactly.
Bad blood or something.
Pretty shitty.
Yeah, I think that was bad. Yeah, I hope they call him out for that.
I just don't know. I don't know. I mean, I get it. The guy's hurt, and I give him all the credit in the world. Like I said earlier, I mean, he's got the heart of a lion, and he does whatever it takes to remain in the game and make plays. But you can get over the stuff that may cause him to miss throws. Well, he's injured or whatever. Okay. I mean, I saw 3 plays at least just sitting on my couch that there were guys open, and we threw to guys that were double, triple covered. So we talked about it on the Wednesday show. You're on year 4 and you're still wondering. That's not good.
Yeah, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in the game. I'm disappointed in Baker. The defense played okay.
Oh, Brian Schaffner, new member. Welcome, 14th member.
There you go, Brian.
Hell yeah.
What's also disappointing is the fact that Woods was able to, keep them to, 13 points. One bad play, the long, 55-yard touchdown, but it's just going to reinforce the way Woods calls games. No pressure. You can't. Lamar Jackson, if he comes back and he's healthy, he's gonna eat us up with that type of defense. And yet you have the Jets showing him firsthand in an entire game from start to finish that you put 6 guys, 7 guys on the line of scrimmage, you are going to put some pressure on that quarterback. And that kid would have folded like a $3 bill, I think. But we just gave him time and time and time. Myles Garrett did nothing. Clowney did nothing. We had a couple of jumps off sides at inadvertent moments. The only thing we didn't do is rough the passer or have an unsportsmanlike, penalty, that type of thing. We missed a field goal. We missed an extra point. I mean, we did everything almost we could to lose that game. And we somehow miraculously didn't lose it.
Oh, well, I just completed the poll. Can we drink the Victory Monday after the performance? 58% say no.
So will I be chastised if I drink out of it?
But tomorrow? We can drink out of the brownie post game.
I just got the Victory Monday travel mug like 3 weeks ago. I've been dying to use this damn thing.
I know, and so when I was in Cleveland, my dad and I went to Cleveland Clothing Co. and I picked up a Victory Monday shirt, but it felt like it was the wrong size. Like it felt like it was a medium, and I needed a large. Right. So then it was a little.
Nothing wrong with a medium.
It was a little. Fine. Yeah, it was an extra medium, and so I didn't feel like it was nice. So I gave it to my wife so she can just wear it to bed. And I went and picked myself up I guess an XL version of it. But now I don't feel good about wearing that. It was like technically a win. Technically. It's like it's like kissing your cousin. I guess it counts, but it's gross.
I can tell you that there is no way that either a rookie is brought in to compete or a veteran is brought in to compete at the end of the season. There's no doubt about it. That's going to be the plan from this front office. I can't think that it would be otherwise.
Well, they can't give him a long-term contract now. The fan base would go nuts.
Yeah, I think you just hang with the 5th-year option at this point, or
until he turns it around.
Yeah. And interesting. I don't know did you guys watch the halftime show?
Parts of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw parts of it and I caught one part. I don't know if you guys caught it, but it was Jimmy Johnson talking about Baker and just basically talking about, you can't give up on one until you have the other. Right. And I think he was just being kind and was alluding to the fact of what we just talked about in terms of, I'll be quiet again because we got another subscriber.
Yeah, Evan Christinger is asking for an F-bomb. I can't even drop an F-bomb today.
You can with that thing though, with the track. You can.
Oh yeah, I can. I can get like
You forgot
mother.
about that. There it is.
There we go. I got it. I got it. We haven't had a Bonzo, barking or a Mookie barking, so I can't use my.
I don't know what he's doing.
My dog check.
He's been calm today. Now, that's not to say we're not going to hear him, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. My gosh, I mean, guys.
No, at least we can root for the Raiders against Cincinnati, and we can root for the Chargers against Pittsburgh. I would have very little incentive to be concerned about either one of those games had we lost today, because all we're doing is going backwards as opposed to forward. So if those two teams lose, then it'll, make the matchup against the Ravens next week even that much more important. I don't know how much more healthy Baker gets within a week. I don't think Chubb or Hunt comes back. I think he's still a couple of weeks. He may come back for the second Baltimore game, which would be great, but it's still, he's a backup to Chubb. They rarely put him back, both of them on the field at the same time, which is beyond me. I don't know why they don't do that more often. It would certainly, put the defense back on their heels. Maybe we get Peoples-Jones back, so we get another wide receiver. Bradley caught a couple of nice passes. He had, I think, 46 yards on the day. Higgins, I think, made one catch, and Hooper made a couple throughout the game, so he was in it. But clearly, Chubb was the man. I mean, just put it in his arms, do the sweep, hope there's no penalty, and pick up 12 yards.
Yeah. We actually just went over 4,700 subscribers, guys.
Nice.
So 4702. And this subscriber widget is really stupid. I have to update it every time, and if I don't, then it breaks. So I'm adding it back in.
It's like the Lions are, heading for that first pick. It'd be interesting to see whether they pick a quarterback. If they give up on Groff, which might be a little early. He'd certainly be picked up by somebody.
It depends who's there. Like there's not an Andrew Luck or a Trevor Lawrence in this draft. There's not a John Elway. There's not a sure thing in this draft. And that's the really unfortunate thing. Now, is there going to be a winner? Probably. I think the Pickett kid's pretty good. The kid from Cincinnati looks good.
Matt Detroit's going to have a lot of picks, considering the trades they made with LA. So if they can pick up one or two players that can go plug and play right into the starting lineup on defense and offense, pick up a wide receiver, that type of thing, they can improve. And of course, there's only one way to go, and that's up from where they are. It's working towards a winless season. Texas, made a nice move today. They won, so they moved up a little bit. Buffalo got smashed today by the Colts, which that's got to be depressing for their fans, especially a home game like that.
Yeah, annihilated. That was like the Patriots game for us last week, 41-15.
It can happen even to good teams, but it's a question of how you bounce back. Well, we bounced back with a 17-13 win.
Well, here, get this. So Josh Allen was 21 for 35, 209, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and then I think they were getting beat so bad that they ended up putting in Mitch Trubisky. Mitch Trubisky was 3 for 5, 19 yards and an interception. So the people who are calling for Mitch Trubisky are just, the Trubisky stand has to go away. I think, Mike, you're right. I think when it comes down to what we're going to do next year, we got the 5th-year option with Baker, so it doesn't hurt to have him in there, but it also doesn't hurt to have a little healthy competition. There was really no competition between him and Case Keenum, like in reality, right? He was going to be our guy. He was our first overall draft pick. And, we've finally seen the emergence of Myles Garrett, who has been healthy all year somehow. And he's playing like Myles Garrett the guy we drafted first overall. And we just have not seen that yet from 6. And he is, I get he's injured. I get it that, they showed that the graphic with the shoulder, the knee, the foot, the other leg or whatever. I mean, he's playing at like 65, 70%. But that first interception he threw was it's indefendable.
Right. I mean, Jarvis Landry was open by 5 or 7 yards inside of the guy, and he threw it so far over his head that when Jarvis jumped with his hand extended, it still went over his head. And the guy just, caught it, and that was it. Now, luckily, I think we held them so that they didn't get any points. And then we intercepted to get the ball back. So it didn't hurt us, but clearly you can't do that against Baltimore, Pittsburgh, even Cincinnati. They're going to eat our lunch up. He's got to find a way to play better. And if he can't, then you got to put him on the bench, let Case Keenum play. He's not a bad backup.
We have a backup quarterback for a reason.
Yeah.
You have a backup quarterback for a reason. There is a starting quarterback. When the starting quarterback goes down, the backup quarterback goes in. And Case Keenum, Mike and I have talked about this. Dad, you and I have talked about this many times. It is
Baltimore found a way to win without Jackson today.
Yeah.
It wasn't pretty, but they found a way to win.
I will say, on an injury note, and I thought I saw him go back in, but apparently maybe I didn't. But it was JOK injured the same ankle. They'll know more tomorrow.
Yeah, I saw him limp off. Didn't see him come back, so that might be a loss for us. But maybe he's got a week to recover. And
he made a heck of a play doing it.
Yeah, that was a good play he made. Yeah.
Yeah, my God, guys. I mean, like,
I feel like we lost.
It does. Yeah. It feels like a loss. It really does. You know what it feels like? It feels like a tie. It doesn't quite feel like a loss. It's not quite that bad, but it's pretty bad.
Yeah,
it's like
if they got in field goal range, kicked a field goal, and went to overtime because we missed the extra point and because we missed a makeable field goal that had plenty of distance, just wide right.
I'll tell you, the last couple of games, McLaughlin has gone, has whatever magic he had is worn off.
Yeah, the other guy was kicking right down the middle.
Exactly. Whatever magic he had. And I don't know if it's because the Scottish 30-yard punt hammer is
33 yards. That seems to be and then every now and again he'll throw like a 54 in there just so he could keep his job.
Yeah.
God, is that terrible? I mean, if you're gonna do that, then just blast it out of the end zone. Just put him on the 20-yard line. Right? Just do whatever. It's like he's punting scared, or I honestly don't even know at this point.
Yeah, we got lucky on that punt that they made to the 1-yard line where the guy stepped in the end zone and took his foot back out before he, but he had already touched the ball at that point. So they had to give it to us on the 20-yard line. And then we made a nice play after that to get to the 40 or 50. So, I could just see us fumbling a snap or, somebody blows up a play, you get a safety and they get the ball back. I mean, all kinds of negative thoughts go through your head if you're on the 1-yard line with a team that's not playing that well. So we caught a break there, but still 10 penalties. I mean, come on, guys. They it just seemed like every other play the flag was going because they had 8 or 9 on them too. Just not good.
It was. I mean, I think the LeVar Arrington or somebody was saying it. It's like these are bad teams. I mean, 2 bad teams that have penalties when you can't afford to have penalties. Like, you can't have a guy like Nick Chubb who's trying to put the nail in the coffin. He's trying to seal the deal for you. He's trying to help you win the game. Doing everything he can. It was like Dearness Johnson against the Broncos. These running backs are risking their lives. Like they're running for everything. And we just get penalty, holding. Penalty, blah blah blah. It got to the point. I don't know if you, Mike, you were watching this too. Like the play would be over, and then they're like, we're gonna throw a penalty now. It'll be over.
Yeah, or the one where he caught the ball, they lined up, and then they said, oh no, it was incomplete. third and 10, not first down or whatever. I mean, it's so much in the hands of the referees and the calls that they make at various times in the game. It just unfortunate. And we luckily got our couple of breaks when we needed them. But it could have gone the other way, and we could have lost as a result of that too.
Yeah. I have to tell you, like I literally, I'm, me, usually I talk. I got nothing. I don't know. I really don't know how to feel after this. And
not enough positive things happened.
No.
That we could talk about that you could drive towards the Baltimore game. It's just like, okay, chances are we're going to lose and we're going to get our butts kicked. And then we got a week off to live with that. And then we have to face them again, of which, the season will be over then, I think, if we lose 2 straight to Baltimore.
Yeah. I mean, next week is it's for all the marbles, as they say, because
Right.
I really feel if you lose, I almost feel like you have to win out at this point. And I mean, that's really not going to happen. But I mean, you could lose maybe 1 or 2 games, but I don't think that you can lose another couple of divisional games. I think the path, I think everybody's so bunched up that I think the only path to the playoffs is the division, if I'm being honest. So
Yeah.
I don't.
There's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be 9-7. There's so many teams. The Bills lost today. The Titans lost today. So there are teams that are in it with us, and they're not able to put teams away either, and to keep moving. So it's going to be it's going to come down to these next 2 games. Fortunately, it's in our hands. We don't have to wait for Pittsburgh to win or lose or whatever. It's right in front of us. And then we got a Pittsburgh game and a Cincinnati game at the end. So we can control our own destiny. It's just that we're not much in control.
Yeah, it's true. I'm just really, really, really interested in seeing what team shows up next Sunday night in Baltimore. I just, if Jock's out, which it looks like that could be the case. I think even if it's the same ankle like they said it is, and even if it's not the same high ankle sprain and he just tweaked it, I can't imagine they run him out there. But I mean, then again, they're running Baker out there weekly dressed like a mummy, so
Right.
Maybe they could, but this was not the game to lose him again. Getting ready to face Lamar 2 weeks in a row. I mean, technically, 2 games in a row, we get the bye in between. But point being is we drafted him to stop the Lamars and the Patrick Mahomes of the world. And now all of a sudden, you lose him in a game that should have been, dominated by this team. I mean, it's just, I don't know. You look at the talent across the board on our team, and it's quite embarrassing.
Yeah, underperforming, that's for sure. Plagued by some, unfortunate injuries. But it was great to have Chubb back, dominate the game the way he did after being out a week. We do have that to look forward to. We know he can run against Baltimore. He showed it, last year. So that, if we can get that going, and it opens up the play action for Baker a little bit better, that would be great. If he came back and had 30 yards and was kept out half of the game because he was, still recovering from COVID, then I'd say you can just pack it in at this point, because we can't win without Chubb and Hunt performing the way they did last year or early even in the season. So Johnson's nice. He made a couple of nice runs. And maybe if you give him more chances, more opportunities, he does better. but I like Hunt as the backup and the guy who spares Chubb. So we have that to look forward to. It'll be interesting to hear Baker in a press conference to see how he, woe is me, or I'm hurt, or wasn't my best
He's
game.
not going to do that. He's not going to like play the victim. But he
did walking off the field the way he did.
I'd like to know that. I'd like to know 100%. Why did you walk off the field without going over to Tim Boyle and shaking his hand and saying, good game? Did Tim Boyle, did he cancel his home insurance policy and you're pissed about it or something? Like what is it? It's unprofessional. If that's actually what happened, I'm disappointed. I think it's unprofessional, and that's something the Ravens do. It's not something that we should do, especially in our home field.
Right. On a win, I could see on a loss, you're pissed off. You just don't want to congratulate somebody when you should have won the game or whatever. But we pulled it out. He didn't lose the game for us.
Yeah.
He wasn't a hero. He did get banged around, but you just suck it up and you go, to the next week, and you be a man about it. And
it's funny, like you be a man about the win.
Right.
It's like you won the game, Baker. Like you can, I know it wasn't good. I know you played less than stellar, but go over and shake the guy's hand. I think this is the thing, guys. And this is one of the things that I realized early on in the season. I talked to Mike and I talked to my dad about this, and I've said it often. This isn't a championship team. Like, this is the bottom line. Like, we're injured, we are undisciplined, and I think that the strategy, both pre-game strategy and during game strategy on offense and defense, are all pretty bad. And then you max that with poor execution. Every time we drop back to pass, I hold my breath. And that's
every time he throws to the sidelines as opposed to over the middle. I'm thinking, okay, he's got somebody open, whatever, but throwing to the sidelines and having a pick six, go down the sidelines. I mean, that scared me every time Baker threw one of those. And I think he probably was only like 50% of the time that he completed those. So, give credit to the Lions. They played, halfway decent. They could have won, should have won last week, should have had at least one or two victories under their belt. And now they got a short week. They got to go up against the Bears, who lost. So it'd be two sad sack type of teams going at it on Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I mean, it is.
I don't even see that Baker had his press conference yet. I see Stefanski had his. That's how we got the Jock update. We're JOK. I know everybody yells at me for that.
Maybe he's not coming out.
Yeah, and then Chubb is getting interviewed right now. So yeah, that'll be interesting. I mean, usually the starting quarterback meets with the press, so we'll see.
I think Higgins made one catch, so he was not really a factor. So the offense did not perform. The defense did their job, and they gave up the one big touchdown that put them back in the game. But other than that, they stepped up when they had to, made some interceptions, stopped them on 3rd and 4th down, that type of thing. So I give credit to them, but I just wish he had blitzed more, put more pressure on the guy. And I expect the same thing next week against Baltimore. I expect 4 guys rushing, and that's it. And if Lamar has a good game, he's going to kick our butts.
Yeah, I mean, I'll hand it to the defense today. Malcolm Smith with a great interception, bobbled it, but came down with the ball. That was fantastic. Denzel Ward, when healthy, plays. Yeah. And, when you put him on a guy, like, he's dangerous to throw to. He can catch the ball, and with a hell of an interception today.
Yeah. So he'll get it. He'll get the next deal. There's no doubt. Yeah,
Denzel's earned it. And it just comes down to Baker. I think where we stand currently with Baker is there's competition. And guys, tell my dad during the game, do not be surprised if there's some sort of play for Kirk Cousins in Cleveland. I know it's like, well, Kirk Cousins is terrible and blah, blah, blah. Got to keep in mind, Kirk Cousins and Stefanski have played together. And, they pay, he made all his money already, and I don't know what the situation is with the contract, but if we make a play for a guy like Kirk Cousins, you better believe he's going to play. He ain't coming to be a backup quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So that would basically spell the end. And are we going to pay Baker Mayfield 5th-year money because we signed him? So we're it's going to be a cap hit and all that kind of crazy stuff. What do we do? Yeah. It is a conundrum.
And when you look at the quarterback position, and I know everybody, freaks out and they have, thoughts of the past 20 plus years, but the difference between the past 20 years and present is, I got to tell you, I got to keep talking. Every time I talk, we get subscribers.
I know. I was sitting there. I was like, continue on, Mike. Bring the subscribers in.
Yeah,
you're gonna personally get us to 5,000.
Right. Yeah. The only way you can get into chat, you gotta subscribe.
Honestly, turning on the must subscribe. I mean, it doesn't mean they have to stay. They can unsubscribe after they're done chatting. But I hope we've done enough to earn them as long-term subscribers. And we picked up Brian's the new one. We picked up Browns fan 1977. Finally, Browns fan 1977 becomes a paid member. So yeah, I mean, it seems to be working out pretty well.
And all I was going to say was, we're in a different situation right now. We have a very solid offensive line. So, if the front office believes at the end of the year that they've got to move on, and moving on is bringing in a veteran or, drafting a kid high, I if they think that if they do draft somebody that he's the guy, it's not like he's going to get killed. I mean, they spent a lot of money, and that could be telling too, all that money they put into the offensive line. I mean, obviously you want to win, you want to run the ball, and you never know what the future is going to bring in the NFL. But, it's pretty telling that, they lock those guys up pretty quick. So, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm talking to some people on the Twitter side of the world, and people are saying, well, the defense played fine. It wasn't on the defense; it was on Baker, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, look, I mean, I think the defense played fine. I was hoping that Joe Woods would have applied a little bit more pressure today. That's the frustrating thing. You have a beat up offensive line from the Lions, and then you can't apply any pressure. Miles doesn't get to the house at all. Right. Miles did disrupt a couple screen passes, thank God. But we didn't get to the quarterback at all. And the one time we got to the quarterback, we kind of landed on him and got a penalty. And it was like, if we're paying this much money for this defensive line and we can't get to the quarterback, that's telling. And if Joe Woods is going to say, you know what, I'm just going to let our defensive line is just going to be pawns, and I'm going to let the rest of the defense kind of fill in the gaps and make the plays. I mean, I get it, but like, how pedestrian you're taking this level of talent and you're not using it. It's frustrating. It's just, I mean, and we've got athletes out there. It's not like we don't.
You just wonder what they're looking at on film, what's going through Woods' mind and Stefanski's mind, the week of the game as to what the strategy is going to be, knowing that Groff is going to be out and you got a rookie quarterback who's not even thrown a pass. How can you let that guy sit in the pocket the way he did and throw the ball the way he did? Luckily
it was raining, and he's not very accurate in the first place.
Right. Yeah. He's a backup. There's a reason why he's a backup.
On the Baker front, no interview.
No, yeah. I would be surprised if he had one, considering the way he walked off that field.
And I'm sure he didn't want to deal with it. It's interesting to me though, because usually the starting quarterback meets with the media after a game. I mean, I was under the impression that that's just a prerequisite. Yeah,
Yeah.
like the requirement. Like I didn't think that was optional, and it might not be. We'll see if if it is or if there's fines.
Well, he might have been hurt. You want to get something x-rayed right away or whatever, but still, they can wait 5 minutes after you congratulate one. You don't have to congratulate the whole team. Just say nice game to the other quarterback and then run off the field. I mean, that would have been what I expected. I was shocked that he did that.
Yeah.
So that's something that Rodgers or Breeze or Mahomes or some of these other guys would not do. So we'll see how he reacts this week in practice, and if he has any, press conferences between now and the Baltimore game.
Yeah, I this is one of the situations where I'm like, hey, ask him the question.
Right.
Why'd you walk off the field, bud? Like what was going on?
Right.
What
he says.
And if he was like, look, I was just really disappointed in my play and I was feeling bad. I wanted to get into the tent to receive some treatment. That okay. But it's not a good look.
No, and
you could wait 5 minutes.
Correct. And to your point, it's definitely not a good look. And it just adds to the BS that is self-inflicted with him. Like go, and like he wasn't injured enough to not finish the game. He wasn't injured enough to take a knee, which leads me to believe that you're not injured enough to go see the guy that just had to start the game and he's not very good. And he just was, that might have been, who knows? That could have been the highlight of that guy's day is to go and
right.
And chit chat with Baker. We don't know, so it's rude, kind of ignorant. And I mean,
see if the press picks up on it and they give him some heat.
Yeah. I mean, that's the kind of thing.
I'm not seeing anybody talk about it on Twitter. Let me ask.
A couple people have, like Jake Trotter said, Baker Mayfield not addressing media post game, no word on why. And then Jake Burns says, interesting. Cam said not speak to the media. Tony Grossi said something about it as well. They said no word on why. It's
I'll tweet it out. I'll tweet out the question. Did Baker Mayfield walk off without shaking any hands? Just want to understand.
Go say, hey, good game, buddy.
Right.
And then go get your body x-rayed.
Yeah, Chubb came across the field. He was smiling. He actually smiled and laughed coming across the field. That people were congratulating him on doing what he did there at the throughout the game, and especially at the end. That was great. I didn't want to see it go to overtime. I didn't want to see him get close to being able to kick a field goal, and we couldn't do anything in the second half to get close to do it either. So I mean, the offense was other than Chubb running and getting first downs, it didn't do much at all. So it was disappointing, especially when I predicted 42-10.
Yeah, I got it right here. I think I was the closest.
I got close to the Detroit score, but obviously we didn't do very well on offense at all.
I gotta put a check mark there for me. I had 20-10.
All right, very good.
Not that was a very confident 20-10, as we remember.
Yeah, you're right.
A little earlier.
And you know what? The sad thing was, there was a guy that I work with who was asking me. He's like, "What do you think? I got the Browns in this. I have a pick'em league. I had the Browns left, or I could go with the 49ers."
What did he do?
He went with the Browns. I think I'll check with him, but I think he went with the Browns. I'm not 100% sure. But I think he went with the Browns, but we'll see. I mean,
what we knew before the game, we should have bet the house on the under.
That's true.
Yeah.
The under was looking good. Plus,
we knew it wasn't going to be 12.5, even though you guys had higher scores. You knew in your heart that it wasn't going to be that high of a game.
Hey, the things that come out of my mouth don't always equate to what's in my heart. as you guys know, especially for you Wednesday show viewers.
I gotta tell you, I'm worried about. If you ask me the one thing I'm worried about going into next week, it's that ankle is back to where it was weeks ago. Like, did they? You gotta worry. You gotta wonder about this medical staff too.
You're talking about JOK? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, at what point do you have to say, all right, it's a valiant effort, and we get it, but you got too many injuries. You need to sit for a week, or like the high ankle sprain. I mean, that's usually a 6-week thing. We were all praying that it was going to be a quicker thing, and it was. I know for a fact that JOK was pushing to come back a little bit earlier. He felt fine. It seems like there's not much interjection from the coaching staff when it comes to these things, and it's evident marching Mayfield out there with. Next week they may put some horseshoes on his feet for those bruised heels and send them out there.
Should be interesting to see the PFF scores, Mike, this week, to see who performed well, maybe under the radar that we didn't notice was having a good game, and so forth. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of scores come up, considering how sloppy it was and penalties, and defense played okay, like I said, except for that one 55-yard run at a very bad moment to put him back in the game, and he just ran right through the line. I mean, and they held, I think, Miles on that play, or one of the guys, and of course we don't get a flag on a holding. They just go against us. So,
yeah, Twitter people were reacting to my tweet about Baker if Baker walked off without shaking any hands, and blah blah blah. People are making excuses for him. Not feeling well, hurt, understandable. His hands are hurt. Yeah, he did, and that's okay. It's
not a big deal for people, huh?
Some people are making excuses. There is a clear line. You're either like Baker stan or hate him. There's nobody in the middle apparently. And I'm just wondering. Honestly, at this point, I love Baker. I really do. I love Baker. I love what he's done for the team. I think he was the right guy. And, it's almost like, remember David Carr, when he was drafted to the Texans, and he was pretty good, but he just got annihilated. They even made a commercial where they digitally erased the offensive line. And
you ever see the jib jab of that?
No.
Oh my God, there was a jib jab back in the day with David Carr.
Oh, and his offensive line.
And the offensive line, and because I think if you go back and look at the numbers, he was over that span of time. He was the most sacked quarterback, and it was a jib jab was funny. Like the offensive line kept disappearing on him.
Yeah,
and he would get sacked, and he would come up, and his eye would be hanging out.
It was like the same thing with Tim Couch. Tim Couch wasn't as bad as a lot of people think. He never really had an offensive line. He got destroyed, and it comes down to this: are you going out there and sacrificing the body for it or not? But our offensive line now is pretty good. We've got a good offensive line. They can pass protect, they can run. Some stuff going on in chat. Cleveland Ethan was saying that Cameron Justice Fancy said that he never knew that Keenum was even warming up.
Yep, true.
He didn't even know. So I guess I don't know who made. I guess Case Keenum is allowed to go and pick up a ball and throw it on the sidelines. There's nothing against that.
Yep.
But it's just odd that he's saying that I wasn't the one who said to do that. But
there's a lot of miscommunication, it seems, and that's another very frustrating thing to see on the outside looking in.
This is not the same team as it was last year. You get rid of Odell Beckham, who clearly didn't want to be a part of it. You bring in guys like Clowney, Johnson, Troy Hill. You draft two like really high potential guys on defense, and they're not better. And the penalties are significantly worse. Like last year, I don't remember. I mean, maybe there's 1 or 2 games where the penalties are bad, but never this much. And it is an epidemic right now with this team.
Yeah, especially one that was, touted in the preseason as not making mistakes. The second team was good.
Yeah.
And he prides himself on discipline. And yet was the first series. I think we jumped offside or a false start on the first series. I mean, we couldn't even get out of the box without a penalty. We didn't have a good first drive. We got to midfield and it just went brain dead. And luckily we scored early enough that, we started to feel uncomfortable. And it was up until that 55-yard run. Then all of a sudden it was fight for your life.
Yeah, guys, I don't know what to say. I mean, like it feels blah.
Yeah.
It feels like we're a bad 6-5 team. And I mean, there's a lot of teams out there this week that would have beat us. There's a lot of teams that would have beat us this week.
Yeah, the only saving grace is that teams that you didn't expect to lose this week did. The Bills, the Titans, the Packers. I mean, those are 3 games that those teams should have won and didn't. And so their fan base is disappointed in their performances. We're disappointed in the win because we didn't win bigger, more convincingly, and give us momentum to go into the Baltimore game. But all those 3 teams got to recoup and come back again because each one of them is right in the thick of things now that they've lost. And then you got games tonight where the Raiders are playing, Kansas City's playing, Steelers are playing. So there are a lot of key games still to go this weekend, which sets the tone. So there's some parity going on in the NFL this season. There's no clear, obvious, road to the Super Bowl for any one team at this point. They falter. They're not playing well the last 3 games of the season. They're not going to make it. So it's all momentum. It's all who's peaking at the right time, who's got less injuries, less COVID, etc. So
the Bengals
still in it. Still got something to root for. That's good.
Bengals are beating the Raiders 10-6 right now. And Steelers, Chargers are tonight.
Right.
So looking at the standings right now, we are still in the basement in the AFC North at 6-5. We have one more win than the Steelers and Bengals, but they have less losses because they have I guess they've all had their byes already. I know, well, obviously the Steelers, but I guess they have because we're so if they lose, then we'll jump to second place if Steelers are in. But I mean, it comes down to this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't.
And we said we'd have this feeling after this game, and here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was hoping to feel better.
It just feels weird.
It really does.
New subscriber. There you go, Mike. You're talking, and we get a new subscriber.
It's like the game that we won against Pittsburgh, where Miles, clocked him with the helmet. It was a great win.
Almost as bad. I mean,
lost.
Almost as bad. Nothing's ever going to feel as bad as that win.
Am I 5 for 5 today with talking and subscribers?
I think every time you talk is a new subscriber. It's like every time you do something good, like an angel gets his wings, right, or whatever it is.
That's it.
Every time you hear a bell, right?
We need a bell sound.
We need a bell.
You need something for a subscriber, Mike. What don't you have one of your sounds?
I could do like dog check.
Yeah, it's got to be something different, something unique.
Yeah, we got to come up with something.
I could put whatever in there, but actually it was really interesting. So I end up, this is probably going to be boring for a lot of people, but I use Streamlabs OBS as the way that we produce the show. And Streamlabs OBS is actually coming in quite a bit of fire for some of their business practices. So I might have to switch off of Streamlabs OBS to like Stream Elements or just go regular OBS. But hey, new member, there we go. Mike was saying it. Mike said Cleveland Ethan in the house, new member number 15. Welcome with the tier 2, Cleveland Ethan. Let's get some emojis in the chat for Cleveland Ethan. I'll go ahead and throw the Victory Monday mug in there since we're not allowed to drink out of it. We can put it into the chat. Yeah, thank you guys for joining the channel and for supporting us as always. It's a weird game. I will tell you this, though. I am excited because I got the white starter jacket. It's actually sitting there behind me. And I got it in a medium because usually starter jackets are pretty, they're big, you know, they're hefty. And I put it on and it was just a little snug. It just was a little like the Victory Monday shirt. It was just a little snug, right? So I reached out to Fanatics and I was like, hey, I ended up buying this on with a sale. If I buy a new one, can I do a return and will you honor the price? And they're like, yeah, we'll honor the whatever. Go ahead and buy the new one and we'll send you the difference. And I said, okay. And then I went to check and there was one white large jacket left.
You know what's funny?
And I was like, go.
You've been trying to convince me through picture. And I went on there the other day and I was like, maybe I'll ask for this for Christmas. And then I went on it and all the mediums were gone.
I have a medium. I'll send it to you if you want to send me the money. I'll 100% send it to you.
I got to think about this.
It's the last one. It's the last medium on the planet. Apparently.
It is.
And knowing how they do the starter, they'll reissue. The Homage has been reissuing the game day jacket, like the sateen, bowling alley, 1976 bowling alley Browns jacket. And but this one, I don't know if they're going to come out. But it's not heavy. It's not like a heavy. Remember when we were kids? It was like thick and heavy and padded.
Yeah.
This is like
thinner.
Very, very thin. Very thin. I mean, it's warm, but it's thin. So just keep that in mind.
All right. I'll when should I let you know by?
Well, just let me know in the next day or two because I got to send this thing back if not. All right, guys. We got to get out of here. I got to take my dad home.
Yep.
New subscriber Yusuf Johnson comes in. That was the first one that Mike wasn't talking. Yusuf, what's going on, my man? We got Bonzo. We got the dog.
Did you hear him?
Check.
Oh yeah, there it is.
We got the
subscriber
dog.
And Bonzo barks. I mean,
Bonzo's in the house.
Absolutely fitting.
Guys, thank you very much for joining us for the postgame show. A magical Browns victory.
Yeah.
Feels wonderful. It feels just lovely winning that way. And thank you guys. Thanks to the new subscribers. Brian and Cleveland Ethan. You guys are awesome. The new members, I should say. We will be back on Wednesday evening, 7:00, pre-Thanksgiving Wednesday.
Yep.
Right?
Turkey Day.
Yeah, Turkey Day the next day. So we'll be, probably drinking whatever we drink there. Maybe, Mike, maybe we'll get some of the Christmas brew. We can do some Christmas brew for the Wednesday show. Because I won't be working Thursday. So, all right, guys. Thank you very much. Love you all. And go Browns.
Go Browns. See you guys.
Hey, Mike.